Hello, Ghana. Good morning, Africa. I go by the name Starboy Bobby Gentle. And I'm here with my team, Strategic Records. I'm here to have fun with you. Hello. If God say yes, nobody can say no. Things we do different too. You only know my name, but you don't know my story. Oh, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, oh, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, oh, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I just won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Cause I do with different style. Never try me, come on a different guy. Bobby Gentle, got a thing, no. When me step up in a club, come and see you. Yeah. They are screaming with my name, cause the boy is so serious. I get a vibe, and my vibe is so dangerous. Do re mi fa so la ti do, tinning on. Hey. Modern Castro under fire, they can never quench my fire. Me a speed up, I know they waste time. I'm in my crew, we they go. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I just won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Me say, if God say yes, nobody can say no. Things we do different too. You only know my name, but you don't know my story. Oh, yeah. Cause I do with different style. Never try me, come on a different guy. Bobby Gentle, got that thing, no. When me step up in a club, come and see you. Yeah. I'm not here for competition. I'm right here for jubilation. And I don't want confusion. The more you hate me, the more they go higher. I'm the biggest thing you never know, let me tell you. Starboy Bobby Gentle, I made it. Me a speed up, I know they waste time. I'm in my crew, we they go. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, yes, won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. I won't go. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Yeah. If God say yes, nobody can say no. Things we do different too. You only know my name, but you don't know my story. Oh, yeah. Cause I do with different style. Never try me, come on a different guy. Bobby Gentle, got it in no. When me step up in a club, come and see you. Yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, hey. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I just won't go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Obodo Ibo, I won't go. Yeah. I know, yeah.
And that's Bobby Gentle.
Bobby Gentle, yes.
So talented.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll talk to him later on in the show, but welcome to Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kweku Citi.
And I am Dziffa Ametam. We're so thankful that you can join us this Thursday morning. It's not too sunny, not too cloudy. It's the perfect day, actually.
And today is our 16th anniversary As a station, Citi FM is 16 years old. Yeah.
I can't imagine what it must have felt like 16 years ago.
Yeah.
When Uncle Nick,
5th November 2004.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and 16 years in.
Yeah.
We're
here. We're here today.
It's crazy.
It's beautiful.
So, guys, join us to celebrate.
Absolutely.
We couldn't have done this without you.
Absolutely.
Every morning, you tune into 97.3 and you stay with us till you go to sleep. None of it would have been possible without you.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes. And every day we start the show off with some words of inspiration. So let's look at our quote for the day today. So the quote of the day today comes from Benjamin Franklin, and he says, "In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes."
Not if you're in Ghana.
Nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. Now, for me, what I'm hearing here is that, number one, I'm hearing a number of things. Number one, change is inevitable. Okay. Number two, we have this thing where it's like, oh, I made up my mind and that's it. I'm not going to change anymore and all of that. One thing that is certain is it's only death and taxes.
I don't get the taxes bit.
You don't get the taxes bit?
No.
Okay, so here's it. I'm sure it's a humorous spin on things, but the truth of the matter is that you can't get away from living a certain kind of functional life within a functional society except you contribute to that.
Okay, does that apply within our context? Because a lot of people are living just fine without contributing to anything.
Whether you like
Actually,
it or
a large majority of us are living just fine.
It's not what they refer to as DRM, that's the direct revenue mobilization, but you're paying taxes.
True.
Because it's either it's slapped on one thing or another.
Yeah.
It's fuel, it's in the transportation, it's somewhere. You're paying taxes somehow, one way or another.
But all jokes aside, I think it's true. I mean, death, we're all going to get there.
Inevitability.
But every other thing, you have some control over. You have a say in whether you choose A or B. And sometimes we give our power away, so we think, oh, this thing is beyond me.
Too many times we give up.
And when you give your power away is when people are able to control you, because sometimes we lose sight of how powerful we truly are. And we give off so much of our power to other people that they dictate what becomes of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, elections are just about 30 days away, and yesterday we had a very interesting update from the police service, the security task force for the elections, and let's take a look at what they said, and we'll come back and continue the conversation.
The National Elections Security Task Force is made up of the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Armed Forces, BNI, Fire Service, Customs Division of GRA, Prison Service, Ghana Immigration Service, EC, and NCCE. Their main task is to plan and execute security strategies to ensure peaceful polls. Speaking at a press conference, Chairman of the task force, the IGP James Opomboenu, said over 62,000 security personnel will be deployed on December 7, 2020 to ensure a peaceful process.
Ladies and gentlemen, 62,794 security personnel from the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Fire Service, the Ghana Prison Service, the Ghana Immigration Service, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and the Ghana Armed Forces are being deployed for the elections. All the personnel that I've mentioned will be in their regular uniforms, with the exception of officers from the Criminal Investigation Department and of the Police Service and the Bureau of National Investigations, who will remain invisible.
James Opomboenu revealed that over 6,000 flashpoints have been identified nationwide. He, however, gave assurances that the security apparatus will adequately police such areas to prevent anything untoward.
We are approaching all polling stations as potential flashpoints. However, we have identified 6,178 flashpoints nationwide. The flashpoints were decided based on a number of factors, such as incidents recorded in previous elections, this year's voters' registration exercise, and crime rates and other factors relating to those centers. As a result, our approach in these areas will be slightly different from other areas.
COP Tebiri, Director General of Police Intelligence, also gave details on the number of electoral violent cases recorded and investigated during the voter registration exercise.
120 under investigation, if you do the calculation. We have 48 that were sent to court, 29 settled, as I said. Then we have 10 of such cases where convictions have been given, and then 2 acquittals, and the want of prosecution where individuals don't show up is 7. So if you do the calculation, 204 were recorded.
The Director General of CID, COP Kenyabua, said 5 persons have been arrested and prosecuted in connection with the recent Ododo-Diodio clashes. He also gave details of some arms that were impounded in Tema.
5 persons have been arrested. They were taken to court, and so the case is still at court. The 436 pistols that were intercepted at Tema Port, investigation is ongoing. Initially, 6 persons were arrested, but as at now, we are holding on to 1 person. We have examined the weapons, and they are gas pistols.
So that was highlights from yesterday's briefing from the police service, and we now know that over 60,000 security men will be deployed at hotspots. And the only people who will not be in uniforms will be the CID as well as the BNI. And those guys will have something on that we can use to show that, okay, this person's coming from the CID or the BNI. And this is very, very important because we are all used to seeing thugs who belong to different political parties when we go out there to vote. And they can be intimidating, even if they are not doing anything to you directly. What you're doing to the opposition party could deter you from going out to vote. And it's very important that come December 7th, every single one of us is empowered and courageous enough to go out there and cast our votes. So the police is doing this ahead of time to make sure that all of these problems will be addressed. We do know that earlier this week, CDD brought out a report, and 45% of people said that they feared the likelihood of violence this elections. 8 out of 10 wanted armed security personnel at the polling station, and 59% of people demanded jail terms for electoral fraud and violence by political party supporters. So I think that the police service is right ahead of things. They're making sure that they've put in place preventative measures to ensure that we all go through this in a peaceful manner. I think that yesterday when we watched it, one of the things that I think stuck out for me was there needs to be the right mindset, in terms of our security services dispatching their duties on the ground. We are not supposed to be afraid of them. They are supposed to be there to maintain peace, and I think that that's the posture. The IGP is sort of trying to send a message across that that's the posture they're going to have largely. The majority of them are not going to be, heavily armed and looking like, going for war or anything like that. But the idea of it is that they're there to just make sure that things happen smoothly and peacefully. But people shouldn't be mistaken. The police are equipped and are ready to deal quite strongly, sternly, ruthlessly with whoever it is that will foment trouble. And they know the areas.
that are potentially, there's about 6,100 areas that are potential areas for trouble, So they've mapped it out quite well. There were during the voters registration, there were about 200 places that had trouble being fomented, on the ground, and so they marked all these things out, and so they know exactly where to deploy which forces and so on. So all their various arms of the police are going to be ready. There are those who have been detailed for this particular election, and I think that the numbers are good. For as far as I'm concerned, the numbers are very good.
Yeah.
And they will have overwhelming power to make sure that anybody else who's trying something funny and untoward on the ground will be dealt with and dealt with properly.
Definitely, and I think with this, we should all be reassured to go out and vote. We shouldn't use anything as an excuse to not vote. Because you saying, well, it's not, I don't care, MPP, NDC, whoever, nothing changes. You not voting, you are consenting to whoever gets to rule us or serve us for the next 4 years. So we should all be empowered. That's why we all should be listening to Voters Diary 1 p.m. at 97.3 Citi FM and 3 p.m. on Citi TV. This isn't, you don't need an encyclopedia anymore. Just listen to the guys. They spend all their time researching different topics so that come December 7th, you know everything. Because the worst thing you can do is to throw away your vote because you did not know enough. And I like this generation because we are not going to just allow anyone come in and use their personality or deceive us with bags of rice and t-shirts, but actually we're going to vote on policies.
On issues,
We're going to vote on things that will transform our lives. There's no reason why in this day and age certain communities shouldn't have access to running water. There's no reason why some people should still say, I've not seen electricity since I was born. There's no reason why farming communities should not have their roads fixed. When we all know as a country that they need direct access to the market. So then if prices of yams are high, prices of plantain are high, and I'm complaining, not necessarily because it has to be high, but because the person who is farming can't get direct access to the market. So then whatever the market person gets, of course, is going to be smaller. Imagine people carrying plantain and yam to the market from bicycles. So it affects every single one of us. So in your small corner of Ghana, you might say, well, my roads are fixed, my hospitals are great, everything is working well. But you could very well be an outlier. What's going on in other parts of the country? And how do we all ensure that whoever we vote for next will do right by all of us, not just a small percentage of us?
And I just want to also say that let's not forget that as we go out to go and vote, and everybody should go out to go and vote once you're eligible, but don't forget that COVID-19 is actually still around and is very real. Okay, so you don't want to compromise yourself because of the voting. So make sure that you mask up, at least carry it with you, and when you get close to people, put it on. Okay, it's important, and keep a hand sanitizer with you as well. If you go there and there's a place to wash hands, you wash. When you're done voting, you wash before you go. And then again, the whole thing when we are voting is, that people want to hang around and watch the voting process. No, you're supposed to leave the center, come back for the counting. So you vote, you go. You vote, you leave. All right, and then you return during the counting period to come and police the count. And I think it's important for us to remember that these are just basic principles and protocols that have been laid down for us during this period. So we can get it right. We can do the right things and get it right.
And for the young men out there, the politicians are going to come. They're going to try to use a little bit of money and a little bit of favors to deceive you into doing their dirty work. This is the year that you tell them no. We are not going to go out there and harass your opponents. We are not going to go out there. This elections, we are voting on ideas. We're not voting on muscles. The president has already come out to say that we are voting on ideas. So if any, and sometimes it's not even the politicians, somebody in the political party trying to gain some sort of favor with the politicians, saying, I have these boys who can do X, Y, and Z.
My boys.
They are manipulating you. If they come looking for you, tell them to go ask their children to do it. Because some of their kids are living luxurious lives.
Absolutely.
Their kids are not even in this country. And you're going to put yourself out there, do their dirty work for them, bring a bad name to you and your community, and for what? So don't do that. Ask for them to build things in your community. Don't allow them use you.
Absolutely. Well, it's time for us to take a look at the news making the rounds around the regions. Let's take a look.
Good morning and welcome to News Roundup on Citi TV. From the Ashanti region, I am Sakyi Ibrahim. Coming up, President Akua-Addo's campaign tour of the Ashanti region has entered its second day. This comes a few weeks after he had a similar tour of the region. The president, as part of the tour, will inspect and commission projects relating to education, roads, health, industry, and other social amenities. The president, together with some sector ministers, have so far inspected ongoing works at the 120-bed capacity hospital project at Fomena. The project, which is located on a 35-acre land, is part of 6 district hospitals constructed across the country. Although work on the project stalled for over 2 years, Health Minister Kwaku Agyeman says the current administration is working to ensure it is completed by March 2021. Still on the president's tour, President Akua-Addo is seeking the intervention of traditional leaders within the Adansi area to get incumbent Member of Parliament for Fomena to rescind his decision to contest as an independent parliamentary candidate. The president says he is yet to come to terms with the decision of the incumbent MP to still contest as an independent candidate after several attempts by the party's leadership to get him to back down on his decision. President Akua-Addo also hinted at plans by the MPP to replace the party's chairman for the Fomena constituency, since he has been in that position since 2004. MPP supporters in the constituency have accused the chairman, Akua, of being the cause of the current troubles in the constituency. Let's stay on the president's tour of the Ashanti region for a while longer. The Adansehene Opejako-Tre Efriye Bonsra II is urging the New Patriotic Party to review its constitution to eliminate the electoral college system of selecting its parliamentary candidates. He says the review should make it possible for all party members of the MPP to be able to vote to elect a parliamentary candidate. He believes such a system will eliminate bribery and corruption, as well as vote buying in Ghana's electoral activities. He also indicated that such a system would also make it difficult for aggrieved candidates to contest as independent parliamentary candidates. The Adansehene, who is the head of the Adansi Traditional Council, expressed worry over a decision by a certain member of parliament for the Fomena constituency to contest as an independent parliamentary candidate in the December polls. He also appealed to the president to engage chiefs when appointing district chief executives for the area. Finally, as part of its strategy to amass votes in the Ashanti region in the upcoming general elections, the New Patriotic Party is mobilizing market women to vote massively for the party. According to the party, over time, it has noticed that most market women tend to abstain from voting, hence the deliberate attempt to get them to exercise their franchise on December 7th, 2020. That's all for News Roundup from the Ashanti region. My name is Sakyi Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching.
Good morning and welcome to the Central Regional News Roundup. My name is Calvis Tete. The National Democratic Congress says it will prosecute incumbent Member of Parliament for Wutu Senya East, who is also the Minister for Special Development Initiative, Madam Mavis Hawa Kumsing, for the violence that happened at the Steps to Christ Registration Center during the voter registration exercise in July this year, if it wins the December polls. Revealing this, the National Communication Officer for the NDC Sami Gyamfi, said the party will additionally prosecute Madam Hawa Kumsing for some of the failed One Village, One Dam project. Speaking at the campaign launch of Na Koyo Okuno, the NDC's parliamentary candidate for Ewutu Senya East, Sami Gyamfi called for support from the constituents to help the NDC win the Ewutu Senya East seat. Still in the Ewutu Senya East constituency, an incumbent member of parliament for the area, Madam Mavis Hawa Kumsing, has rewarded over 1,000 teachers in her constituency for their hard work and dedication to service. According to the MP, teachers in the constituency give out their all and therefore needed to be appreciated. The teachers received certificates and an undisclosed amount of money and pieces of cloth from GTB. The MP, Mavis Hawa Kumsing, urged the teachers to continue to give out their best in the discharge of their duties. We go to the Futu constituency, where Comprehensive Development Initiative, a non-governmental organization whose aim is to see women and children thrive, say it is time for women and children to be afforded equal rights in society. According to the group, women and children have been denied of equal opportunities in the areas of education, job opportunities, among others, a situation they bemoan. Speaking at a sensitization event in Winneba, the executive director for the group, Baba Isibu, wants support from the general public to change the status quo. At the end of the event, a health screening exercise was organized for all participants. And this is where we draw the curtains for today's edition of the Central Regional News Roundup. My name is Calvis Tete.
Good morning and welcome to today's news roundup from the Western North region. My name is Stanley Bwedi. The Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mamadou Bawumia, has commissioned the first ever tertiary institution in the Bibiani Arianso Bekwai municipality of the Western North region. The school, Bibiani College, was established in 2017 and now has 2 campuses in both Bibiani and Arianso respectively. In his speech at the Durbar, Dr. Bawumia promised government's commitment to establish a lot more educational institutions in the area. Some of the students, including the TESCOM president of the college, who spoke to Citi News, expressed their gratitude and also urged electorates to vote the NPP government for a second term in office. In other news, the chief of Jema, a community along the Enchi-Elubo stretch in the Aonri municipality of the Western North region, Nana Enuku Ano, who doubles as the Abakumahine of Aonri traditional area, has bemoaned the deplorable state of roads within his jurisdiction. According to him, even though President Akua a few months ago cut short for the construction of the town roads, actual works is delaying, a situation he was not happy with. He thus appealed to the government to fast-track development of Jema community because of its strategic importance in ensuring good food security in the country. The chief made this known during courtesy call on him by the regional minister, Kingsley Abuajijedu. The minister on his part gave an assurance that construction of the road will commence very soon and also appealed to the Nanum to support the NPP government by voting massively for them in the December polls. Finally, the chief of Sehuakatiso in the Bia West district has made a passionate appeal to the government to facilitate the completion of a police station started by the community. He made this courtesy call during the Vice President Dr. Alhaji Bawumia's visit to Akatiso as part of his 2-day tour of the Western North region. He also appealed to the Vice President to make sure that Akatiso Ivory Coast Road is made an international road to enhance economic activities between the 2 countries. And that ends today's news roundup from the Western North region. My name is Stanley Bwedi.
Welcome to News Roundup from the Eastern Region. My name is Neoni Amate Kanaku. The Eastern Regional Police Command is soliciting information from the general public and the media to help trace the whereabouts of one of its officers, Inspector Charles Ademu, who is reported missing. The officer, who is a driver with the police hospital, has since Thursday not been sighted after he duly informed his superiors he was visiting a plot of land at Esuboy near Suhum in the Eastern Region. Sergeant Francis Gomado, the Deputy Eastern Regional Police Public Relations Officer who spoke to Citi News about the development, says a full-scale investigation has been launched by men from the National Headquarters and the Regional Command. Sergeant Gomado revealed that the service vehicle, which was used by Inspector Ademu, was found at the scene with the keys in it and has since been returned to the command. Still with matters relating to the police, the Eastern Regional Police Command has identified 891 flashpoints in the region ahead of the December 7th polls. Out of the total 3,704 polling stations in the 23 constituencies in the region, the Police and the Electoral Commission says 891 identified areas are vulnerable. Speaking to the media during the Police Memorial Day celebration in Koforidua, the Eastern Regional Commander, DCOP Edward Akrofi Ayufi, said adequate personnel will be deployed to the identified spot to forestall any incidents. DCOP Akrofi, who indicated the readiness of the police to provide adequate security before, during and after the December polls, said his men have all undergone the necessary training to enable them efficiently deliver on their mandate. Now away from the police to politics, the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, has accused President Akua and the New Patriotic Party of deceit by engaging in numerous sword-cutting ceremonies to deceive the unsuspecting electorate in the Eastern region. According to the NDC, various health projects which the president cut sword for during his working visit to the region are yet to see any activity. They cited the Eastern Regional Hospital in Koforidua, Etiwa West District Hospital in Kwaben, Okre District Hospital in Edukrom, Achanse District Hospital, among others, as examples. Addressing the press at the proposed site for the remodeling of Enyuesi Hospital, the Regional Communications Officer of the NDC, Dallas Ampoma Williams, said the NPP has performed abysmally in the home region of the president in the area of health. While urging residents to vote massively for John Mahama in the upcoming elections, the NDC also accused the NPP government of abandoning projects started by the NDC government which were at various stages of completion. This is where we draw the curtains of today's edition of News Roundup from the Eastern region. My name is Neoni Amate Kanaku, and thanks for watching.
So those are the stories that are coming from different parts of the country in the regional news roundup. Well, news review is next, and my name is David Kwekusechi.
I am Dziffa Ametam. We'll be right back.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethelog, experts in shipping logistics.
Since 2017, a new dawn is breaking in Ghana. The NPP is building the foundations for growth and transformation. We are curbing unemployment with new and decent jobs.
Thanks to Nana, I've got a new job through NAPCO. That is why I'm voting for him as the MPP.
The promise of free SHS is now a reality.
Through education, I have a brighter future. That's why I'm voting for Nana and the MPP.
The future of our country is in the hands of a competent leader, a man you can trust.
I trust Nana.
This December, let's protect our progress. Let's give Nana 4 more to do more for you.
2020, 4 more for Nana. 2020, yes, for Nana.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the News Review segment on Breakfast Daily. My name is Duke Mensopoko. Barely 32 days to election 2020, scheduled for the December 7th of this year, 2020. Let's begin with the major stories making headlines in the newspapers, beginning with the Daily Graphic. Election 2020, who wins Central? Key swing region. Our security agencies ready for December 7th, 62,794 personnel to be deployed. That's a story on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. Another story on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Government spends $40 million to complete 6 district hospitals. That's another story on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. To the Ghanaian Times. Interception of 436 pistols at Tema Port. CID takes custody of weapons. 62,794 security personnel to be deployed to ensure law order. And Northeast region benefits from waste treatment facility. To the Chronicle. Muhammad dares Amidu. Indict me if you have the coat balls. Armed robbers invade parliamentary candidate's home. Town folks arrest one. We are ready for election 2020. Police service comes with a picture of the IGP, Mr. James Opombuenu, and some senior security officers of the National Security Task Force. To the Business Finder. Boost for textiles garment industry. Ghana Investment Promotion Council, GIPC, and Trade Ministry lead drive. Another story on the front page of the Business Finder. Cocoa Board pushes for increase in coffee production. Ghana's recovery will boost debt management. That's according to the World Bank. That's on the page 8 of the Business Finder. Some online stories now, beginning with citynewsroom.com. Tell us how you dealt with past election troublemakers. Adam Bona to police. Bona is a security analyst. Implore incumbent MP to rescind decision to contest as independent candidate. Akua to Formina Chiefs. That's part of his campaign tour of the Ashanti region. Airbus scandal. John Jinapo defends Mahama after attack on Amidu. And the story on citynewsroom.com. MPP deceiving Ghanaians with quote Sakawa sword cutting events. That's a story from the NDC Eastern Regional Branch. to another story. Jean Mensah, other officials bringing EC's name into disrepute. Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Otukuno. Some business stories now. CitiBusinessNews.com. Aggrieved fund management customers defy SEC warning, engage PBay for refund. Nets will boost Ghana's participation in the African Continental Free Trade Area, this according to the Trade Ministry. MBSSI converted to agency after passage of Ghana Enterprises Agency Bill. Another story on CitiBusinessNews.com. Lands Commission to commence online services on November 9th. Brand Ghana office must be established by an act of parliament. That's according to the IAA World President, International Advertising Association World President. To BBC News now. Everybody around the world globally keeping a keen eye on the U.S. elections as counting goes on in key states. Biden, that's Joe Biden, the Democrat candidate, with 243 votes for the Electoral College, and Trump, incumbent President Trump of the Republican Party, 214 votes after 43 of 50 states votes coming in. For more news, log on to citinewsroom.com. For more business news, log on to citybusinessnews.com. I've been joined in the studio by Frederick Kofi Ameal. Frederick Kofi Ameal is a member of the MPP National Communications team. I must also say that we're expecting Alhaji Mohammed Naziru, NDC Manifesto spokesperson on Zongo and Muslim Affairs. Welcome, Frederick.
Thank you, Duke. How are you?
I'm well. How are you too?
It's good to see you in person. I can put a name to the face now.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll begin with the story on citinewsroom.com with regards to Imani's assessment of the MPP's performance in government. Manifesto. The story reads, says, policy think tank Imani Africa has scored the governing New Patriotic Party administration 56.77% for implementing 510 promises it made in the run-up to the 2016 election. The assessment touched on promises in the areas of governance, economy, health, infrastructure, education and social services, amongst others. Citing the 162 promises made in the area of the economy, the report rated the NPP 57% in fulfilling its promises. Research consultant at Imani, Dennis Asare, described the incumbent government's performance as fairly satisfactory. To quote his words, he said, a total of 162 promises were made by the NPP in their 2016 manifesto that was related to the economy, and under that, the NPP was able to attain 57.62% of the promises they made. They promised that they were going to abolish the 1% levy. They were able to abolish this in their first term. They also abolished the 17.5 VAT on selected import medicines and NHIL on financial services. In 2019, Imani Africa scored the Akua administration 48.78% after assessing the delivery of its 2016 manifesto promises. I begin with you, Fred. This is an assessment by a civil society organization. In 2020, February, the Vice President's assessment of the NPP's manifesto promises and its delivery was about 78%. In June, the NDC pegged the NPP's performance at 14%. Away from the partisan description or rating of performance in government, this is a civil society organization that has done a job standing in the middle between these two political parties. What will be your initial thoughts on this assessment done by Imani?
Well, good morning again, and good morning to your cherished viewers. And I might begin by saying that Ghana is in a very good hands, and in terms of the economy, the management of it thereof, I am very positive as a young person that we should be rest assured that moving forward, beyond 2020, Ghana will continue to do better, more especially when we continue to repose the power and give authority to the MPP administration to lead this country. Indeed, Imani's report and assessment of NDC MPP's performance is one of many. And we have said on many occasions, on many platforms, that we are a political party, we are a government, we are a group of people that continues to liberate the energies of every Ghanaian. And that is why we provide service, leadership in service. And indeed, when we do promise, we have the credibility that we will deliver. Prior to the 2016 elections, we structured our promises in 4 thematic areas. That included good governance, making sure we provide free education to our young ones, also making sure that we industrialize this economy and change it from the existing structure, which has been fundamentally producing and exporting in its raw state. So we decided that deliberately we will take steps to ensure that we add value to the things that we produce in this country. And indeed, through the One District, One Factory, we have done so. We are not there yet, but we continue to do so. We also told the good people of this country that at the end of the day, when power is given to us, we will make sure we fix the economy and try to balance the macroeconomic indicators. And I believe strongly, looking at where we came from, the fundamentals were out of gear to the extent that on April 5th, 2015, the NDC administration, realizing that they cannot no longer manage the economy, went to IMF for a policy credibility, for a bailout. What that tells us is that they told the Ghanaians that, I'm sorry, Mahama, by extension, telling Ghanaians, I'm sorry, I can't manage the economy anymore.
But if that's the case, the IMF recently is rating Ghana as a debt-distressed country.
You see, that is a discussion we can go into. But the point I'm trying to establish here today is that the assessment of Imani is one of many, 1, 2, and it's good. Of course, they said it's satisfactory, but we believe that we have done more. It's not just about Imani. The recent CDD report indicated that about 70 Ghanaians do have confidence in the current administration when it comes to delivering of our promises, not just that.
It's about 50%, not 70%.
The confidence.
The CDD report. Yeah.
Oh, it was around 68%. You can go back and check again. The confidence level of Ghanaians in Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is really high. So for me, clearly, looking at where we have come from and against a candidate who has been a president before and also has a track record of making sure he doesn't deliver on his promises. Not just not delivering on his promises, somebody who performed abysmally to the extent that he lost overwhelmingly. You know, as an incumbent, it has never happened in the history of this country. So clearly, my initial comment will be that indeed, Ghanaians should be rest assured that there is a government that is committed and that when it promises, it will deliver. And that when it says, indeed, I'll make this economy better, they would. Indeed, when they promise that they will make sure that our young ones go to secondary school without money becoming a problem, indeed, they will do that. When they tell us they will restore allowances that were given to people who goes to training schools and teacher training schools and all of that, they will deliver. When they said, indeed, they will revolutionize the economy, they will do so, and making sure they implement policies such as One District, One Factory. When they talk about making sure that Ghana will be self-sufficient in terms of food production and consumption and even exporting, they will do so by implementing a policy like the Planting for Food and Jobs and all of that. So clearly, what Imani has said basically means that December 7th, when we have the opportunity to go to the polls, Ghanaians should vote for the NPP because at the end of the day, they have the wherewithal, they have the competence and the capability to make sure Ghana indeed live up to its expectation and the potential we have.
The 68% was in relation to Electoral Commission.
Electoral Commission.
Yes,
thank you for the question.
So let me move to Alhaji Naziru. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Same question to you. The Imani, civil society organization, in between the partisan interests of the NPP and the NDC, has rated the NPP 56%. Your party, in February, rated the NPP's promise 14%. The NPP rated itself some
78%
in February 2020. 2020. What would be your comments on this report that has been put in place or put together by Imani?
Well, having said a very big good morning to your cherished viewers, I think the Imani's position brings for another big debate on how this country is being managed. You would recall that not too long ago, the same Imani rated this government far below average. And I don't know what went into the computation of arriving at 56% today, but that is their research and based on what they've considered promises in the MPP manifesto, as well as what we also considered promises in the NDC manifesto. Indeed, what is very important for now is for the MPP to come to the table and tell us that yes, they accept all the items as listed by Imani as promises, being so promises in their manifesto and not vision. Because when we raised our issue and indicated that we have found about 631 promises in the MPP 2016 manifesto, they came out to debunk it and say some of them are mere vision and not a promise. So that is why I want a clear response from the MPP to say that yes, from the items that the Imani Ghana has listed, they believe strongly that it is part of their promises, and for that matter, they will accept it.
They have said yesterday, even at the event, the MPP representative, the MP for Secondary, indicated that per their own assessment is far higher than that. But the question is that when Mani did a similar analysis of the NDC's performance in 2016, they rated NDC's delivery of 47%.
Yeah, but
comparatively, that's less than what they've done in terms of the performance that was put out by the MPP.
Various factors went into Imani's decision. Do you understand? But what is out there for everybody to see is not 46%. I mean, we are seeing today that even when COVID-19 emerged, some of the things that NDC did, the investment of the NDC way back from 2012 to 2016, were the things that this country depended on to fight coronavirus. So these are there for everybody to see, and time would vindicate us as we move on. But it is very important to also raise issues. I don't know where the Imani Ghana took its data from to arrive at the 56%, because when you go to the delivery tracker of the MPP, managed, designed by the same MPP, I can give you several examples where people, and reputable institutions have also questioned the existence of some of the things they claim they've done. One of them is a publication on Ghana Web, which fact checker Baumia claims Ghana has done more coronavirus tests than Nigeria and others. Outright lie. This is a presentation, and another one, the Cancer Treatment Center. That Bamia claim and the MPP claim that has been built, it does not exist. This is by Dr. Yangtze himself, who is also in the field and can attest to the things. And one from the Media Foundation for West Africa, where they also attest to the fact that the 2020 manifesto claim of hospital built in Obuasi and Yinam, AUNC, completely false. These are all in their delivery tracker.
These are not facts that we can verify here on the platform.
I am verifying it. I don't need for you to verify. I am telling you. I said I don't need for you to verify. And my listeners who have enough time and want to do due diligence and arrive at a definitive conclusion before they cast their vote can go and verify. That's why I don't just say it. I give you reference so that you can go and refer to and arrive at the same conclusion. So these are Media Foundation for West Africa, a reputable institution, raising pertinent issue to the effect that some of the things that you have indicated do not exist. I mean, to point and arrive at the NDC's decision that the MPP administration is scoring about 14 points is not something that we should be rejoicing about. That is the fact on the ground. The good people of Ghana today are asking what the number of, the data churned out today to us, indicating that we've taken a lot of money from financial institutions, from the money market. We have not managing this money very well to the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian. It's there for everybody to see. All these factors put together would tell us that the performance of the MPP government is not at the 56 or so average percentage that the Imani Ghana is giving to us. I mean, we totally disagree with that, because what we are seeing today, you know, one scandal after scandal, there is nothing to point to the over 260 billion that we have received as a country from financial institution and the money market. What can we account for all this money? And you tell us that these people have been performed at least averagely for 56%.
Fairly satisfactory.
Fairly satisfactory. Fairly satisfactory. I mean,
it's about 50%.
Fair and good. That is the opinion. But I am telling you that my research, which I have also indicated, because in the NPP manifesto promises that the NDC begin to question. We did not import anything outside of their manifesto. We indicated page by page. At this page, this is the promise you made, and this is the results. You've not achieved it. That is where we arrive at the 631 promises with about 235 deliveries, which for me is not satisfactory.
Fred, he says that Imani has even been charitable with it. Rating of
let's reduce the discussion to the betterment of the ordinary Ghanaian in the market. Okay, whether we have done better or not, as against what they did. Okay, that is important because they are trying to come back to power. Okay, so now the economy then. I'm talking about John Dramani Mahama compared to the economy now. The Bank of Ghana policy rate was around 25%. So that means that when you go to the bank and you go for a loan, you might be paying around 30%, 33%. Now we are talking about 14% policy rate of Bank of Ghana. So that means that when you go to the bank and you contract a loan, you will be paying interest rates of about 22%, 23%. We are talking about 10-point difference. So that means that when hitherto you go to the bank and you borrow 100,000 Ghana cedis, per annum you'll be paying 30,000, 33,000. Now the same amount of money, you'll be paying less, around 20,000. So you have 10,000 that you have saved. That is important.
That's just a certain aspect of
that is critical.
A certain part of
that is one
of the economy.
That is one. Okay, I'm coming.
A certain segment.
The Ghanaian parent, the woman, the man, the husband, the wife, the mother, the father, who hitherto would have to raise about 3,000 Ghana cedis, okay, to make sure the child goes to school to begin with, and then every 3 months he would have to, or she would have to cover about 1,000 Ghana cedis. We are talking about people who haven't even seen 500 Ghana cedis in their life. These people today can send their children to school to become better individuals, just like you and I, because of a better policy, because of a better government. Again, our friends and our brothers and sisters in the north, hitherto, you know how their climatic conditions are. And at the end of the day, when they are producing and they are farming and all of that, they do not have the necessary irrigational activities and system to make sure they are able to produce adequately. Because of the one village, one dam, now they are doing better. Because of planting for food and jobs, now Ghana has become the food basket of West Africa. So clearly,
there are also several places up north where the dams have not been completed, and
that is why we are scoring 80%. That's why we are scoring
from 78% to 80%.
No, that's why we are scoring the 80%. That is why the civil society organizations are scoring as fairly satisfactory. That means there are more we can do. That is why we're also asking the good people of this country to give us 4 more, to do more. Now he continued, not just the NDC. What have you used the money for? He mentioned 260, and Duke, I believe you to have the fact. You should have corrected him. That is not true. The accumulated debt is 260 billion. But what we have borrowed...
260 billion.
No, the accumulated debt since independence. He said 260 billion. We have borrowed 260 billion. That is not the case. But in any case...
How much have you borrowed? Then you tell the good people...
150.
How much is John Obama borrowed?
It doesn't matter. It matters what you have used the money for. And let me... When you were talking, I kept quiet. Stop doing this. You have a trademark.
You have the opportunity to make it.
Okay.
So he asked, what have you used the money for? Okay? We have used the money to make sure when you mismanage the economy, especially the financial sector, so badly, which you admitted in your State of the Nation's address in 2016, page 20, that indeed we have created a mess. We clean up the mess by borrowing to satisfy all these Ghanaians who have deposited their money in those banks. We gave them their money back. You are asking us what we've used the money for? We slept in darkness for 4 good years. Indeed, the Institute of Social and Statistical Economic they made a report that every single day Ghanaians were losing $2 million as a result of
that $2 million.
So
that $2 million note, we'll take a break when I'm back. You can, yes, 8:30. We have to take a break. When I'm back, you can wrap up and Alhaji Nasir will have some comments to make. This is Breakfast Daily. Send your messages 055-058-5832 as well as on Facebook and on Twitter platform.
Sunana Abdulrazak. Last week, I received a message from Bet Planet. Come on, now win golden ticket. Nadanje Injin Saya, Mercedes Benz. Omba kuyadama kuma gashina ga sunana kai. Ongana gora kaman gaskiya ne. Munna sun ce na gode Bet Planet. Na gode ma kowa.
If you win, no one win like Bet Planet. My baby, hold you low. If you win, no one win like Bet Planet.
Hello and welcome back. This is the news review segment on Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. I've been joined in studio. I'm still here in studio with Frederick Kofi Amiao. I was a member of the National Communications team of the NPP, and Alhaji Nasir Mohammed, who is the NDC Manifesto spokesperson on Islamic or Muslim affairs. Let me bring in some of the comments that you've sent in. Sami Boache from Asaman Kese says, it clearly tells you that the things are falling apart in the NDC and the center cannot hold. Contradictions and inconsistencies on the part of the Mahama and Sami Jemfi with regards to the men's gold customers. And it tells you how they are desperate and confused for power. That's not an issue we've discussed. Leviticus Powers from Kaswa says, what we know is that Nanado is delivering on all promises. Kaswa is voting for Hawa Kumsin. Okay. So those are the messages you've sent in so far on WhatsApp. Keep them coming in. And before we went on a break, Kofi, 1 minute to wrap up.
So you see, when they keep asking the question, what have you used the money for? Okay, they know where the answer is. They can find it. Because 2016, the former president told Ghanaians that if you ask me what I've used the money for, go to parliament. That is where the answers are. But I'll give him the answers here. The money we have borrowed is the same money we have used to settle the energy sector legacy debts. Today, for 4 years, we are sleeping we have some lights to do other things as well. The money we borrowed, it was that same money we used to clear the debts at the National Health Insurance Scheme, the 1.2 billion. The arrears at the District Assembly Common Fund, almost 1 billion. The road and highways debt that were there, 17.8 billion. Okay, these are the things that we have used the money for today. Coronavirus, when it came, and he mentioned coronavirus, and I sit here anytime they talk about the things that we instituted, the things that we did that has been able to. Yes, it's true. But at the end of the day, the mitigating factors are very necessary. Okay. The steps that we took. So there's some of the money that we borrowed. It's the same money we gave 750 million to Ghanaians. So that small, micro, and medium businesses can be able to revive again. So when they keep asking what we've used the money for, at least at the end of the day.
Portions of the ESLA debt has not been settled. It's actually been reprofiled for a number of years.
But that's the better management of an economy.
Reprofiling the ESLA
so that it can give you physical.
That was tagged as a nuisance.
So that you can be able to have physical space to do other things. Just like we promised in our manifesto in 2016 to reorient our developmental agenda to make sure we send development to the rural areas, the coastal communities, and that's exactly what we've been able to do.
All right.
You see, it is very important since you said you cannot hold brief for some of the documents and things I read.
It's not necessary.
This is the MPP manifesto. Give it to him.
I don't need it.
They indicated whatever they did and how they did it.
Okay.
When he got to Doomsor, he's mentioning Doomsor. Read it. What did they do to solve Doomsor? Read it. It is there. I think you read it to the listening public.
So he says it's done.
Done. What did they do? All the others, they indicated what they did. Why did they when they got to Doomsor?
Yes.
This is the answer is from your manifesto signed by the president. Whatever you tell me,
gentlemen, please.
This is signed by your president. He doesn't have the confidence to tell the good people of Ghana what he did to solve Doomsor. And you walk around and keep telling people that it's a problem. It's a total failure on your part. Let me tell you, if you are talking about policy rates being so nice, being so beautiful, it should transform into something. By now, the 10 million you are saying that by the example you gave should be giving businesses the opportunity to expand, which means that more people will be employed. As we speak today, one of the critical issues with the MPP government itself to even take people into the public sector is very difficult. So they resorted to NAPCO. They resorted to NAPCO. They resorted to planting for food and jobs, which is a clear contradiction of your claim that you've done something with the economy that is so wonderful. But you see, for me and the good people of Ghana,
there was a point where public sector employment was frozen. And that is the point that you are making.
And what about it? That is why the MPP...
You're making reference, you're making reference to that, so I'm just giving you contrary information to that. It's a question I'm just asking.
The policy rate, the economic data that they continue to churn out should transform into something. Yes, there was a point that public sector jobs were frozen.
As a conditionality from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank.
To achieve certain objective. And that objective
that's
has been
also got
achieved.
to do with economic management.
That has what?
That's also got to do with economic management.
I don't begrudge that. What I am saying is this, that today, the figures that you are giving us does not reflect on the ground. Because you yourself, your government, when you want to, employ more of its food soldiers, more of the Ghanaians that you promise, you give them NAPCO, you give them, planting for food and job. And that is not the public sector jobs that you promise them. Even the public sector, with all your policy rate being the most wonderful ones since 1992, cannot absorb this number of people. When you are telling us that they have the laxity today to expand because of your policies that you put in place and you are expanding the economy. So this does not reflect on the ground, because if we do man-to-man bread and butter issue, MPP is a total failure. Instead of the promises they gave us, instead of the heaven they promised us, what we are seeing today is corruption, wanton corruption, which is centered among some family and friends. My good friend here is a good standing member of the MPP who has invested. When I remember when he came to this country with his own ticket to come and contest and show his loyalty to the party. Up to today, what is his appointment?
That is a personal attack.
It's not a personal attack.
An issue on his person.
No, it's not on his person. I think it is not an issue on his person. It is specific. Well, you were on the campaign of the former chairman.
If you have, what's your response to that?
I don't know what is even talking about.
You were not a campaign member of 17?
Yeah, I was a spokesperson.
That's what I want to refer to. That is all that I want to refer to. And I'm saying that the investment is made, and the number of times with his own ticket to come and fight for MPP. Is he part of the beneficiaries of that have been spread around? That have been spread around.
Let's not move away from the focus of this discussion.
The ordinary Ghanaian is having the same feeling.
Ask the question. Let me answer you.
They've suffered enough for this party, and everything in this party is being centered around
Let me answer you. Wait, okay. Today, as I sit here, your friends can attest, I am the head of information, permanent mission of Ghana to the United Nations and Consulate General of Ghana in New York. So yes, I have benefited. Thank you.
Let's move on to the second issue for discussion, which has got to do with the security situation. Okay, 30 seconds.
Well, in rounding up, I want to state that if you are a Ghanaian, you go to the market, you pay your rent, you do everything that the ordinary Ghanaian would do, you would realize an astronomical increase in the prices we used to pay. This is a reflection of the bad management of the economy, so that when you get to the polling station, take a wise decision and vote wisely. Vote number 2, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for this country to take its rightful place
we'll
around the
move
League
to
of Nations.
the second issue for discussion. It's got to do with the security arrangements being put in place by the Ghana Police Service. Now, the IGP story reads from citynewsroom.com. The Inspector General of Police, James Opomboinu, says a total of 62,794 security personnel will be deployed to provide security for the 2020 general elections. He said they will comprise police officers, military officials, and personnel from the Ghana Immigration Service, Ghana Fire Service, Ghana Revenue Authority, among others. Addressing the press on Wednesday, November 4th, the IGP said 62,794 security personnel from the Ghana Police Service, the Fire Service, Prison Service, Immigration Service, and the Ghana Armed Forces are being deployed for the elections. All the personnel I have mentioned will be in their regular uniforms, with the exception of officers from the Criminal Investigations Department of the Police Service and Bureau of National Investigations, who will remain visible. Key point says the police will adopt a 4-tier approach to policing the ballots at all the 40,000 polling stations and 275 collation centers. He further cautioned that the security personnel will not hesitate to apply strict actions where the need arises. State of security in the country going into the polls: is the police service well prepared, well oiled? Is the security situation the very best? Can we trust them to deliver in terms of security for the election?
Yes, we can. In fact, I am very positive that we will have these elections peacefully. We will count it peacefully. The winner will be declared peacefully. The aftermath of the declaration will also be peaceful, and Ghana will be a peaceful country. But it's also important to correct some impressions here and now, that we made it clear that not just the MPP, but even an institution like Ghana Energy Commission's report in the executive summary from 2013 to 2016, that the challenges we were facing in the energy sector was as a result of money, because we didn't have money to power our plants. When it comes to effective capacity and install capacity, we had the adequate facilities. Unfortunately, we didn't have money, to the extent that it took His Royal Majesty Otumfuo to plead on behalf of Ghana for Nigerian gas to even supply some gas at some point. So when you ask about what have you done with Dumso, what we have done, we've been able to find money to power our plants. Then the issue of unemployment and employment in this country, I don't know why they don't even have the moral compass to talk about it. Because when the youth of this country were asking for jobs, the president, former President John Dramani Mahama, told us that he's not a magician to give us jobs. But we were able to produce 2,055,010 jobs in this country.
If we can stick to the security issue.
I will stick to it, but it's important.
Of time.
No problem, I'll do that. So when you ask what our policies have been able to do in terms of its translation, it is the one district, one factory that we implement that has been able to even revive existing company, continue to employ people. That is the benefit that comes to the Ghanaian. Again, on the security issue, like I said, I believe that the adequate accoutrements and the tools that needs to be provided to the security agencies, this government have been able to do so in terms of communication gadgets, in terms of ammunitions, in terms of even vehicles and all of that, and training and all of that. I believe what this government needs to do, it has been able to do. At the end of the day, we are counting on the expertise and then the experience of the police to live up to expectation. But it's also important to recognize that the seemingly heightened tensions we are experiencing is as a result of some utterances and statements and rhetorics by our friends on the other side. I'm talking about the NDC.
You obviously disagree.
Well, it's a fact. The facts are sacrosanct, because when you have allegedly on a tape the chairman of a party, sitting together and plotting to make this country ungovernable, it's a serious matter.
That's a matter that's still under
investigation.
Alleged,
yes, alleged. That's why I chose my words carefully. When you have the director of elections on tape who has not denied, in fact, he confirmed it, that they will make sure that Accra comes to a standstill. When you have their communicators, even prior to the registration of Ghanaians to vote, they were calling for hell in this country, that we shouldn't go ahead with the voter registration, and if you go ahead, this country to the extent that even the leader of the party reminded us that they come from violent roots. They are violent people. So we should be careful. And he went ahead to say, if some chaos comes to this country, that the issue should be blamable. So when all these statements have been made, what do you think? How does it translate? Because at the end of the day, you are creating an impression that the elections will not be credible. And then you say, okay, if the elections are flawed, you accept. Who told you elections will be flawed? Who determines that an election? When somebody realized that the elections were flawed, what did he do? He went to the Supreme Court. Is that what they are preaching today? They will tell you, we won't go to court anymore. As recent as a week or so ago, their parliamentary candidates, this actor, what is his name? I don't even remember the name anymore. John Domelo, is that his name? John Domelo was on video, saying that when they go to the polling station and all of that, they should catch people and beat them.
Well, this is not something we can.
We don't have a video.
We dissociate ourselves from this.
So Citi TV, you haven't seen the video.
This is not something.
Dude, you haven't seen that video that you admonishing supporters of them.
Let's stick to the issue. Let's stick to the issue of the security.
Oh, dude, let's not do this. Let's go and spade a spade. Why are we pussyfooting around the problems in this country? We are sitting here talking about security, and I'm telling you that some of the issues that makes this whole country a bit heightened and all of that is as a result of some of the utterances and some of the statements being made by politicians. And this gentleman is on video telling people to go and beat other people, and you are telling me you haven't seen it.
It's condemnable. That's we all agree, except.
So again, I am positive, and I'm clear in my mind that this president, this administration, is committed to seeing that we will go to the polls peacefully. But can the NDC say same? And with the fact that I have given you, they cannot. Even recently, John Domelo beat people. Okay? So for me, Ghanaians are very peaceful in their nature. I have sat in meetings and I have traveled a little bit, and trust me, Ghanaians are peaceful. They won't listen to the NDC. They will look at the policies and the programs each party is promising, and they'll vote based on that. And I'm very clear, again, very crystal clear, that they will vote for policies that will continue the free SHS. They will vote for policies that will continue for one district, one factory, that will give them jobs. Listen, he does our job. Jobs, you are promising 1 million when we've done over 2 million. So these elections, Duke, will be very peaceful. The best you've experienced in the history of that.
Well, quickly, in terms of security,
I'll stick to that.
7 minutes
as
to do that,
much
just
as
he
I can,
had. Yes.
To stick to that. But to first of all, dispel the notion that our flag bearer has called for violence. It should be noted that he's making reference to our strength to stand, our bravado to fight the cause, and not to.
His words were clear.
Yeah.
His words were clear.
That.
Anyway.
No, you can help me. I'm not giving you. You can help me. What were his words?
That the antecedent of the NDC is from the revolution.
Correct.
Yes.
It means that we are coming to fight. It also means that you can stand the test of time.
Yes.
Whatever you raise in terms of violence, we can stand it, because that is the antecedent. That is what it means. So no matter how you interpret it, this is what we mean. Okay. And I hope the good people of Ghana will take that from us. You see, we in the NDC have continued to have confidence in the Ghana police. We indicated so. We did so, and we demonstrated it. Recently, when we were going into our national executive elections, when we were going into our primaries to select a flag bearer, we dedicated the entire security aspect of our Congress to the Ghana Police Service, to the total dissolution of whatever it is that we have as a security within the party, so that we can justify to the good people of Ghana, given the opportunity the Ghana Police Service can deliver. And they delivered. Everybody saw what transpired. Not a single act of violence in both the two congresses that we went to over the last 2 years. We also continue to show our commitment to peace by ensuring that we raise issues so that with immediate effect, people who matter can come in and address them so that we don't get into an election and get this country disoriented or this country into violence. It is very important that we not run away from the NDC's call for the proper thing to be done. As I speak to you, there is a brother who is injured. I mean, he's nearly going incapacitated because of what's transpired at Iowa's West Walker. There have been reports. There have been, investigations. There have been recommendations. Which of them has been carried out by a president or a party that today claims that someone is trying to incite violence? This is violence perpetrated against the ordinary Ghanaian, where laws exist, where recommendations have been made, where people need to be penalized. Nobody has been penalized. And you expect that you can trust these people to go into the main election and everything will be okay? No, we don't believe so. We also continue to tell the police service. I am very happy that the police service itself has indicated that all their men are going to be in uniform, except the CID that we already know are not in uniform. And the CIDs don't go and deal directly in their activities. Like, for instance, when you appear at a place, you will realize that, okay, this is the police, is manding the post very well, he's giving you direction. The CIDs don't do that. They observe from behind and ensure that the right thing is that. And when they sense danger, they quickly can call for reinforcement. So we agree with that. And let us ensure, let us push the police to take up their responsibility as maintained in the Constitution. Okay. Because they should be independent and make sure that they will keep this country in peace, irrespective of what influences that will come from government.
Move to the last issue now for discussion. Mahama calls Amidu a coward for citing Airbus scandal in Ejapa report. Story from Citi Newsroom.com reads, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has described Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu as a coward for trying to protect the government from the controversy surrounding the Ejapa royalties deal. Mr. Amidu, in his corruption risk assessment report on the Ejapa deal, gave an update on his investigation on the Airbus scandal and said he's convinced John Mahama was involved in wrongdoing. The office has established the identity of elected government official one to be former President John Dramani Mahama, whose brother of the full blood is Samuel Adam Mahama, also known as Samuel Adam Foster, also known as Samuel Adam Mahama. Responding to this, Mr. Mahama accused the special prosecutor of deliberately mentioning his name and the Airbus scandal in the Ejapa report in a bid to equalize wrongdoing. His words for purposes of quoting says, if you have investigated Airbus, present a report on Airbus. Since you know the Ejapa report will be damning on the government, you chipped in a paragraph on Airbus. Nobody asked you about Airbus. If you are man enough, present 2 separate reports on the Ejapa royalty deal and the Airbus scandal, so I can respond to you. Brief comments on this. We have 8 minutes to end up, just about 3 minutes. And Laji Nazir has 3 minutes.
So you see, on the issue of the Airbus and the comments of the former president thereof, for me, epitomizes his hypocritical principles as a person to begin with. Because, one, let's be clear that the special prosecutor did no wrong, because the Act, okay, Section 3, makes it clear that he should report everything he finds, his job, to the good people of this country, okay, twice every year. Is that not what the Act says? Yeah. Exactly. So what is wrong with what he has done?
But this was a specific report to Ejapa, so he's faulting him for bringing it that.
The Act is not clear as to how he should do it. Mm-hmm. What the Act says is that he should tell us what he's doing. So whichever forms he put it, okay, you can disagree with the report. But for you, a statesman, a former president, to go on the tangent in which he went, for me, it's just unfortunate. But I am not surprised, because that has been his style. He's been insulting us all through and through. When we needed jobs as youth, he told us he's not a magician. When we were in Doomso and businesses were collapsing and they were struggling, okay, May 1st, 2015, May Day celebration, he said they were not wise people, the business community, not to take advantage.
And you accept this.
Oh, he said that.
When you accept this,
I gave you the day. I gave you the time.
And you refuse it. You are accepting this.
You will be given the opportunity to make
I'll be given the opportunity. What I'm saying is that I support
at this point,
you said you cannot associate yourself with that obligation. But you are accepting to say all those things without any evidence.
I don't think this is fair.
To who? To John Dramani Mahama, yes, it's not fair.
You see, No, recently, about a month or so ago, the president went to Assemblies of God to introduce himself to his church. And he said we should desist and divorce and alienate ourselves from politics of what? Insults. To the extent that the pastor, the resident pastor there, said that he believes that John Dramani Mahama would do his campaign without insults. Today, what are we hearing? Words like stupid. From a former president. So, listen, the inconsistencies and the deceit and the hypocrisy.
Those are harsh words.
These are not harsh words. A former president is calling an officer of the state stupid, and you won't refer to it as harsh. And I'm saying I'm just giving adjectives and you call them harsh. And I'm giving you facts to it. They are inconsistent with what they want to do, to the extent that they promise us. Okay, they promise men's gold and all of that, that they will give them their money when they come to power. Today, not a year when they have come to power, not when they have come to power. But right when they are still in opposition, they are denying it. Statement they've made, statement his leader, his boss, the communication officer of the party, has said, and he said it many times on a single platform, one platform, that we will pay men's gold customers. 2 days ago, when the former president was asked whether he was going to pay the men's gold customers, he said he doesn't even know about it. He doesn't know even ever promising them he'll pay. When these individuals held a press conference and mentioned his name specifically that he has promised to pay them their money, did they respond? So, you see, Duke, the point I want to establish to you and submit to your viewers and to Ghanaians, humbly and respectfully, is that John Dramani Mahama, former president, is not a man we can trust. Okay. It's not a man that we can have belief that when he promises he will be able to deliver.
I was trying to stick to the subject, but to clear the notion that the interpretation John Dramani Mahama gave to the issue of men's gold has not been fully published by the NPP. I mean, if you listen to the tape to its conclusion, you would realize where he indicated that we need to have statistics and data from a recognized institution to assess the level of damage. Then we can begin to take control
in essence,
of the
what
issue.
he said is on the campaign platform is different from what he said.
What did he say on the campaign platform?
When he went to Takwa, he promised them that he will pay the money.
Please make the point. Yes.
No. You see, it is not fair when you are talking of fairness. And if I speak, you tell me that it is this. When I ask so that I can do a proper explanation, you leave it there and hang it. Okay. Then you are trying to create an impression in the minds of our viewers, which is not true. This is what I have said, John Dramani Mahama said, and you can play the tape to its conclusion, and you hear what he said, period. Now, coming back to the substantive issue of the Ejapa royal deal, I mean, the minority, the entire NDC, and the good people of Ghana to that effect. I mean, if you take the number of civil society organizations that are against the deal and the issues they've raised today has been confirmed by our own special.
Are we talking about Airbus or
Kofi? I'll ask the question. Thank you.
So that most of the things they've raised today have been confirmed by the investigations by the special prosecutor. And then to chip in Airbus in a 68-page report, is that what? I think it's 60-something pages.
A 62-page
report on this critical matter. I don't want to believe that the good people of Ghana will take a one-paragraph report on a matter as important as the Airbus scandal.
But the words that were used by the former president, stupid, coward, on the person of a man who heads an important state institution like that of the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
I don't think if you say someone is a coward, you've insulted him. You've described his demeanor towards a given, objective. You make mention of the fact that I am making a point to you that, look, if you do a 68 or so report on one subject, Ghanaians, you are telling Ghanaians how detailed the report is. Ghanaians will not accept a one-paragraph report on what they call Airbus scandal. And John Dramani Mahama is not saying that you shouldn't do that. He said that do it clearly and accuse me. As it stands now, it is mere allegation and someone's assumption that government official one is Mr. So and so. It's still someone's assumption. There is nothing in detail to prove to the effect that government official one is indeed Mr. So and so. But it's still an assumption. And why is it one paragraph in a 68-page report, which comprises of about 1,000 paragraphs?
So
it doesn't, for me, it doesn't make too much sense. We'll continue in that direction. John Dramani Mahama has thrown the challenge. That is why what Ghanaians should be happy about. That if you think it is me, bring up a full report, formally charge me, then I can respond to it. Then we'll move forward as a country. But the razzmatazz will not take us anywhere. Corruption is engulfed. No, the outcome of this report indicate clearly that the finance minister should have no business staying in office. If you take the case of Citi,
on that note, I will read some messages and then wrap up this segment. This one from Pakwesina Samankesi says the NDC has no moral right to ask the MPP what they've used the borrowed monies for. Descending Ghanaians know a chunk of the monies were used to pay debts incurred by the NDC in the financial sector, energy sector, legacy areas, NHIS debt, and progressive free senior high school. Now, Rams from Prestia says the MPP think we still believe them. They should sit there and clap them. Well, he says that they should. The MPP, when I have 10 things in my hand and you take them from my hand, you give me one, you're happy. Okay. So it's essentially to make the point that the MPP should not be happy about its performance. Rams from Prestia with that message. Okay. So that's how we wrap up today's segment of the News Review segment. I had in studio Frederick Kofi Ameal, and member of the MPP communications team, and Dr. Alhaji Nasser.
Amen. Maybe I'll be a doctor.
Alhaji Nasser Mohammed, manifesto spokesperson for the NDC on Muslim and Islamic affairs. My name is Duke Mensopolo. Keep watching Citi TV. Up next is Tax Dialogue, dissecting the NDC's tax manifesto with Oxfam.
Constant yawning, heavy eyelids, blurred vision, and veering off the road are some of the signs that you are falling asleep while driving. This is driver fatigue. Always stop when tired. In Ghana, by law, after 4 hours of continuous driving, drivers should take a mandatory 30 minutes rest. Whilst resting, avoid heavy food, alcohol, and drugs. Even some medication can impair your driving. A driver can then drive for another 4 hours in that day. For long distances, share the drive. Avoid driver fatigue by getting a good sleep before trips. Don't drive tired. Stop road crashes now. Stay alive.
This road safety education is brought to you by the National Road Safety Authority.
If you win, no one win like that's planet. My baby,
Sunana Abdulrazak. Last week, I received a message from Bet Planet. Come on, now win golden ticket. Nadanje Injin Saya, Mercedes Benz. Tomba Kuyadava Kuma, Gashina, Gasuna Kai. Mangana Gora, come on, Gaskiani. Mana Sunchi, now go to Bet Planet. Now go to
if you win, no one win like that's planet. My baby, if you win, no one win like that's planet. By the name Style Bobby Gentle. The song I'm about to sing is titled Jealousy. If you're ready. Misrawa Brahmin China Muana Meyajo Zemena Mahumatie Misrawa Brahmin China Muana Meyajo Be you, only you, Akosia, and a fame for the Bebo more than so. Sweetie Messi Matty Bia me per the matter. Hey, Oda Messi Matty Bia me per the matter. Fantinina Brofo, Madana Mele Wanji, Native Bamboo Dimension from Anapatu in Yumbilla Mami Etu. Hey, jealousy go shame. I will love you, baby, for the rest of my life. Jealousy go shame. I will love you, baby, for the rest of my life. Yes, Matty Yamina, Academy, no one me boy. Yamium no girl, one cote, what done all last more. Baby, Miss Baba, Yamo, I cannot leave you alone for someone to take you away. Oh, yeah. Fantinina Brofo, Odanana, I'm in the one J. Native Bamboo Dimension from Anapatu in Yumbilla Mami Eto. Jealousy go shame more. I will love you, baby, for the rest of my life. Jealousy go shame more. I will love you, baby, for the rest of my life. Missy Matty Yabena, Academy, don't want me boy. Yamium no call one could say what down all last mo. Baby, Miss Mabo, Yamo quiet boy. I cannot leave you alone for someone to take you away. Oh, yeah. Fantinina Brofo, Odanana Milewanje. Native Bamboo Dimension from Anapatu in Yumbilla Mami Eto. Jealousy go shame more. I will love you, baby, for the rest of my life. Jealousy go shame more. I will love you, baby, for the rest of my life. Let's go again. Brahmin China Muana Meyajo. Semena, Mahumatia, Israel Brahmin China Muana Meyajo. You, only you, Akosia, and nothing, Robert Bodum, more than so.
Message here says, hello, I politely asked my wife whether she's cheating on me because she doesn't pick my calls. She got really upset and is packed out of the house. I went to plead with her, but she says she's not coming back because I don't trust her. What do I do? I'm dying slowly.
How do you go from, she's not answering my calls, why are you cheating on me? There's more to the story, and for me personally, this has more to do with him than her.
After the first time you say it, the second time, and it's like, okay, all of a sudden I'm not picking up my phone calls. And does that mean that I'm cheating on you?
You did the whole paradox of I politely asked if she was cheating. Which one is that? Because that
I was about to ask you ladies, like, how do you do that?
Like politely asked. So he said it in a nice voice, or he said it with a smiley face.
At first he said it in a bad voice.
Sure, you're cheating, honey.
You must be cheating, no. Now who cheating? Like, I don't even understand.
Sister is sponsored by Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready and secure. You decide.
This weekend on Footprints, former Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Achiman Bedu Akosa, continues telling his riveting story.
But everybody felt that pathology was too difficult. Akosa couldn't do it. And the head of department said I didn't get distinction in pathology, so he wouldn't accept me. I said, hey, my first degree there was head also. Second degree, that's all. The couple. So luckily he went on sabbatical, and I got accepted. And when he came back, I was in the department, and he wasn't happy, but he soon realized that it would have been a mistake if they had not taken me into the department.
Wow.
So we did 2 years here, good grounding. I was on autopsy duty every day. Every day I did 20 autopsies. Every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
At the main mortuary?
Yes.
So you were contesting with Papa Kwesi Ndum?
Papa Kwesi Ndum, Kweku Asafo, Braja Kwete, who else? Yeah. So there were 3 people from the same camp fighting Papa Kwesi Ndum. Okay. And of course, he won. But because I knew what had happened, I told him that there was no way I was going to give him my support. Because I don't believe that a political party should be totally emasculated by another political party.
Okay.
All right? So you didn't win squarely, and I withdrew. So this was not where Ghana should be at all. And this was somebody who, on the very day he finished his program in Abrochire, he came by boat straight to Ghana, and giving his all to Ghana. Because now it is almost as if everybody else in Ghana does not matter, except those who have committed themselves to a certain political discipline. They are the only people who matter. They are the only people whose views matter, and everybody else is sidelined.
Footprints airs this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. with a repeat on Sunday at 4 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Footprints is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
All right, welcome back. It's time for us to have a conversation. In this segment, we're going to be talking about the taxation, and last week we began to talk about what it is that the NPP is proposing in terms of taxation, post the elections, and today we're going to be looking at what the NDC proposes. The basic idea of these conversations is to find out what sort of decisions that they've made in terms of what are they looking to bring across to the country in terms of their, where they position themselves politically and the taxation decisions that they are making for us as a nation. And so today I've been joined on Zoom by our regular tax dialogue guests, Dr. Alex Ampaben, who is a fiscal policy specialist with Oxfam. And we're going to have this conversation this morning. Good morning, Dr. Alex Ampaben.
Good morning, David.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, let's get into the conversation right away. What is it that stands out as the basic policy of the NDC in terms of their manifesto and taxation?
Yeah. In terms of what the NDC proposes to introduce as a policy on tax, there are a couple of things that I would say stands out for me. The first one being the tax exemptions.
Okay.
Straight away, what they have identified is to address the growing tax exemptions, mainly looking at the discretionary exemptions that we gave to most of these multinationals coming into the country, which is in their manifesto, page number 22.
Okay.
There is also the need, or they have identified the need to broaden the tax base, believing that we are not capturing enough within the tax net, and there's a need to bring more, expand the base in order to bring more taxpayers into the tax net.
Yeah.
Another thing that also stood out for me is the decision or the proposal to improve tax collection. You might have all the wonderful tax policies and the structures in place, but if the issue of collection, where the leakages actually happens, are not properly tackled, then there is a challenge. Another crucial thing is the abolition of corporation taxes for small businesses.
Okay.
What the NDC is proposing is that if they come into power from 2021, they want to abolish corporation taxes for small businesses.
Okay.
In other words, small businesses, I don't know what definition they are going to use to determine what is a small business.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is that small businesses, whether they're in the GRA or the NBSSI classification, the point is that they want to make sure that small businesses are taken off completely from corporation tax.
Okay.
Again, the type of tax those small businesses will be paying is not clear. The proposal did not talk about whether they'll be subject to normal income taxes, which in a way could potentially be higher, or there could be a gross turnover type of taxes, like it happens in countries like Lithuania and Albania, where companies which have Albania, for example, if you have less than £35,000 or say $40,000 a year, then you just pay 4% in as a gross turnover tax. So 4%, whatever income you get, if you're under $40,000, straightforward.
Yeah.
You have the same in Lithuania. Their own is about 25,000 because of exchange rate. They put it as in pounds as 19,000 pounds. So if you're making around $25,000 in Lithuania, then you have a choice either to file for normal corporation tax, in which case you'll be entitled to all those benefits associated with the filing process, or you just opt for a normal 4% or gross turnover base type of taxation. So I'm not sure if this is what the NDC is proposing, but it's kind of a bit blunt to say we are going to abolish corporation taxes for small businesses. One, no definition of small business, so we can't say much there. And number two, we are not sure what type of tax exactly are they proposing.
Okay.
And then another thing that also stood out for me in the proposal is they want to take away companies, or medium enterprises, which employ 20 people, more than 20 people, completely from corporation tax for 2 years. So according to the proposal, if you establish a new company, and it's classified to be a medium-scale enterprise, and you're able to employ more than 20 people, then for a period of 2 years, there will be no taxes for you, which is in their manifesto, page number 23. However, if you're a newly established medium-scale enterprise or medium company and you're employing less than 20, so from 1 to 20, then you'll have a 1 year tax, corporate tax exemption.
Okay.
So here is probably a bit of, should I say, a bit of counterproductive here, because there's a campaign on page 22 on abolishing, trying to reduce discretionary tax exemption. But then majority of the proposal is also looking at introducing more, what could be more of statutory exemptions.
Okay.
So for example, if you go to page 24 of their manifesto, you go to page 40, you go to page 42, you go to page 54 and page 98. All these pages are really much advocating for tax exemptions.
Even though the manifesto says that they're going to scrap that.
Yes.
Okay.
They're not saying they're going to scrap it. On page 22, what they are saying is that they want to avoid discretionary exemptions.
Okay.
You know, you have the statutory exemptions and then the discretionary. Under the statutory are what is already in the tax books. So a company, once you set up, those exemptions are already defined.
Yeah.
So if you set up in, say, Sakyi, for example, Western North, you might be having maybe 2% or 5% tax rate, just for demonstration. So it doesn't matter, as long as you fall within those classifications and the locational incentives will kick in, which is the statutory one. But then in addition, we have the discretionary exemptions, which normally companies, mainly the multinationals, which are more powerful, kind of push and use their power to influence to get exemptions which are not already in the books, but they are more specific to the activity or to the project they want to undertake. So in page 22, they want to reduce discretionary exemption, which is costing Ghana millions of Ghana cedis. But in the other pages I mentioned, 24, 40, 42, 54, 98, there are so many forms of exemptions which is being preached. So obviously, I know you just started, so I'm sure with time you'll be able to pick them one by one, then to see how these exemptions sit, especially in the wake of loss of campaign against giving so much away.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get into the exemptions, just sort of give us a sense of the scrapping of corporate taxes for small businesses. Position that next to what we have for some small companies now of the flat rates, because I know that that exists at the moment, where we have some kind of like a flat rate for small organizations, sole proprietorships and small businesses and so on and so forth. How does that work? So does that mean that all those things will go away? Is that the idea? I'm not sure.
Well, there are two different things I'm sure you're talking about here. We have the VAT flat rate, which is different. But here we're looking at the taxes specifically on income companies or businesses.
So income tax rate,
On income tax too, we have small businesses which pay presumptive-based taxation. So under the presumptive-based taxation, it doesn't matter how much income you make. So they look at the size of your shop, the location of your business, and few indicators to determine the tax liability.
Okay.
Here, the emphasis is more on those businesses which are within the informal sector. But in terms of the proposal, I'm sure it's not about the informal sector, because the proposal is saying we are taking small businesses off corporation taxes.
Okay.
So I'm not pretty sure whether they are going to use the size of the business or the income.
Yeah.
So they might come up to say, if you're a business making less than $10,000 or making less than, let's say, $50,000, you'll be classified as a small business. So in that case, you don't have to go about doing filing. You would now be required to maybe undertake, what do you call it, gross turnover based type of tax. So this is where I'm looking at. But as it stands, we don't have a flat rate for limited companies.
Okay.
So companies which have been registered do have to go through the normal corporate tax filing processes, which I believe is one of the challenges that is causing lots of non-compliance, because the higher the tax rate for these businesses, the more lucrative it is for companies not to pay. Seychelles, I was talking about Seychelles last week. They had the same challenge like Ghana. They have lots of informal sector. And the challenge they were having was that the compliance level was very low, just like we have in Ghana. So what they did was they reformed that small business sector. And now what they did was, if you a small business which is making less than 1 million Seychelles rupees, I think that will be about £50,000 or $70,000. If you're making that amount a year, then you don't have to pay any corporate tax, whether you're registered or not. So you only have to pay 1.5% gross turnover. So at the end of the year, if you make $50,000, give 1.5% to the Seychelles Revenue Authority, which is very straightforward. What they are proposing, because there have been lots of campaign around it. PEF, the Private Enterprises Federation, I know I've been working for the last 2 years with OSIWA and a few other organizations in proposing for this kind of taxes for small enterprises. So I'm pretty sure this is the direction, but obviously I can't speak for their manifesto. What it is contained is the references I can make. There is a proposal to take those businesses off corporation taxes, but as to what exactly small business means is not captured. And again, what exactly they will pay in is also not captured. So it's kind of a bit blank at this stage for us to be able to make a real assessment of the proposal.
Okay. All right. So let's get into the exemptions. But I want to pick Jeffrey Okansi's thoughts also. Jeffrey is with the Tax Justice Coalition, and Jeffrey, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So your initial thoughts on the NDC's manifesto proposals as far as the taxation regime they want to bring is concerned?
Well, if you take the NDC manifesto, you can, like my brother said, they mentioned exempting these companies, these corporate companies from taxes. Now, like he rightly said, you need to understand how much is going to be given to them and how they will be proportionalized. So if you're going to be giving them and you only peg it, if you put it clearly that you are going to make sure you are going to grant them these incentives, and the peg, they mentioned, they said the rural investor incentive. Now the peg was persons who are going to be doing business and employing 50 persons. Now when you state 50 persons, clearly you have just opened the door for somebody to employ people at certain levels where maybe the income levels will be very low. The security man is among the 50 persons. The drivers are among the 50 persons. It's a good creation of jobs. So somebody can easily, quickly go into these areas, invest, and get 20 or 40 people who are farm hands. And when they are farm hands, how much of the monies and profit goes to the community where the company is actually located, you realize that they'll just get a little. It happens on a big scale where the mining companies in the extractives and the oil companies, when they come to the country, they come with a tag that they'll create employment for our citizens.
Yeah.
But at what level do they create these jobs? And how much stays in? And how much of our raw materials would they be using and involving us by tapping into our labor? What if I go there and invest in this rural area, and all I do is that I employ 40 security persons and pay them just 200 cedis? They will still be below the minimum wage level.
Yeah.
And I'll still be saying that I've created a job for people. Okay. And then maybe the next 40 again I employ, they will also be just farm hands. So we're saying, come out and state clearly what this qualification will be like. How many companies qualify for what? Now, when I go to the next area where they talk about, when they talk about the issue of exempting commercial vehicles. Okay. Yes. I don't have a problem with them exempting the commercial vehicles, but the specifications must be clear. Because if you say commercial vehicles on a large scale and just leave it like that, persons are going to be bringing cars that they will say are commercial vehicles, but they use them for their private use. A contractor might bring 10 Tundras, and then tell you that all those 10 Tundras are for commercial use, and that he's going to use it in his construction company. But at the end of the day, might be using them for his private or sell them. So we are okay with them when they put the incentives there, but we are saying they should cut the incentives right and make sure there are tax so that people do not take advantage of these incentives that they are putting into place. When they said they are going to put something to the companies to give incentives, we have a strong view that beyond just giving incentives, we also think that when investors come into areas, they look for three things. They look at security, they look at labor, and they also look at one very major incentive, which is raw materials. So let's rather focus on how to make available raw materials to these companies. How do we also upgrade the skills of our people such that when these companies come, they can feed in? And then finally, look at how the secured and operational business processes can be. If we improve the business processes, the current government is doing something, but we're saying that when you look at what the NDC also proposes to do, clearly you can see that both of them are talking about one thing, that is accelerating the process of doing business. Now, the NDC states clearly that they are going to be making sure that they will give opportunities for people to be employed. But we should want also to see that they are also going to put improvement systems in place that will make, one, collection processes very, very, very smooth. Also, the next thing to be that they will put systems in place so that companies do not abuse some of the incentives processes that are available, like the free zones area. So we are begging them, the NDC, wonderful proposals we've seen over there, but we're cautioning them that they do not open the door for persons to take advantage, like the free zone situation, where companies come into this country, operate for 9 years, and then on the 10th year when they have to pay taxes, then they change their company names and flip to the next side. All
right. So, Dr. Pape, you mentioned about the exemptions and the fact that there are different categories of exemptions and all of that, and you have some kind of reservations with some of them and all that. Can you take us a little bit into that conversation?
Is it better?
Yes. The exemptions that we normally give in Ghana, as I said, we have the statutory exemptions, and you have the discretionary. So the statutory ones are already, before you walk into Ghana shores to start a business, these are already provisions in our tax codes to say whoever is starting a particular type of business, whether it's by location or it's by a particular set of activity, you are going to get tax exemptions. These are already in our books. But then you have the discretionary exemptions, which is the one normally killing Ghana. A particular company walks into our doors and said, I want to start this business. And then the next minute, they use their power and their influence to be given a special treatment. I think that's the word I will use. So the discretionary ones are the ones that companies will ask for special dispensation or treatment because they believe that by venturing into that sector, they deserve to be given those particular exemptions. None of these exemptions are bad, but the point we are trying to make is that it's good to have the exemptions, but there should be cost-benefit analysis for each exemptions.
Okay.
Over the years, what Ghana is very good at is just giving exemptions away. Some of those exemptions have outlived their usefulness. Some of them, we've given them for years. Nobody is monitoring to see, are we really getting value for money? The real form of exemption is when it moves with policy directions. So to give an example, during the credit crisis, the UK introduced what they call the annual exemptions amount, AIA, which is if a company invests into a particular sector or involve the use of machinery or stuff like that, which the government believed that by investing into those capital expenditure is going to lead to expansion and creation of jobs. Those companies were allowed to deduct up to the full amount. It started with £250,000, it came to £500,000, and then as the economy started recovering, they moved it to 100,000, 50,000, 25,000, and then they phase it out. So you see, they look at, as the recession, the country was coming out of the recession, they were adjusting the annual exemption amount accordingly.
Okay.
You come to Ghana, ours doesn't work that way. Some companies will be given exemptions, and up to 10 years, 20 years, nobody is monitoring to see, is it in line with our policy directions? Is the exemptions the company been given really is Ghana really benefiting? And I'm sure if you can recall, the president at the State of the Nation's address last year did note that the growing nature of the exemptions is not good and it's not sustainable. And if we don't stop the rate that we are going, in about 16 years' time, you'll be giving more than half of every money we collect in this country away. So that's the danger. We gave away 5 billion Ghana Citi last year. We give away 4.6 billion 2019. Our free SHS budget was 2.4 billion.
Okay.
For the year.
Yeah.
The road budget was 2.2 billion. What that means is that the money we give away to these companies
could have covered both
fully
the road,
financed exactly.
And
so
the
it tells you
education.
how severe and the urgent need to pass this. So I was very happy that in page 52 of the MPP's manifesto last week, they were talking of, again, tackling the exemptions. Fine. NDC is also saying the same in page 22 of their manifesto. But I don't believe both are doing enough. You know, we have exemptions bill currently before Parliament. As part of our conditions on going to the IMF, we had to reform our exemptions bill. We didn't need IMF to come and tell us that stop the taxes you're giving away. So we put exemptions bill before Parliament. IMF came in and then ticked the boxes that we've now exited the program successfully. But it seems we actually put those bill before Parliament just to pass the IMF test. But here we are losing substantial amount every year. So it's good that both have recognized, and I'm happy that the very good people of Ghana are listening. So right after the election, we have something in our hands. As to whoever comes into power, there is something in our hands to say, this is what you promised. On that basis, we voted for you. So what exactly are we going to do? But again, come back to, we are promising discretionary, reducing discretionary exemptions. But then, as I said earlier, anybody with the copy of the manifesto, page 24, page 40, page 42, page 54, and page 98, there are so many other forms of exemptions which the NDC is promising. And I don't know how we are going to meet our revenue targets if they preach it's all about exemptions. Because companies don't really look at exemptions as number one when they want to enter into a particular country. So if I give a company 0 tax exemptions to go to Afghanistan, and I give the same company 40% to go to Norway, knowing the same market size, where do you think these companies will go? they'll definitely go to Norway.
Okay.
Issues like security are very important to businesses. Issues like infrastructure, quality of roads are very important.
Okay.
Issues about law enforcement. So the things that we can do better, let's look at how do we get businesses to come here. Ghana has a very wonderful politically, it's a politically stable country.
Yeah.
So we don't need to be giving us so much away.
So we're already an attractive place anyway.
Excellent. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are so many things that going forward, I hope that, and I was hoping that they would have picked that rather than promising so much exemption, because it's not necessarily about exemption.
Yeah.
You're talking about giving MSMEs special tax breaks. Sometimes what they need will be some small government funding and government guaranteed loans, or making sure banks are equipped to be able to support these businesses. They need funding because they don't pay tax if they don't make profit. So let's get it clear. Companies, registered company, limited companies don't pay taxes if they don't make profit. So how do we create an environment to make sure that those companies are making profit so they're able to pay taxes? But to promise about 5, 6, 7 pages of tax reliefs or exemptions, what exactly do you want to do to the economy?
So let me ask you, as somebody who has been in this space for many years, is exemptions basically a lazy approach towards trying to incentivize companies to come and set up?
I won't call it as a lazy approach, because there are other benefits to exemptions. There are so many benefits to exemptions. Sometimes certain industries, for example, a company might not want to establish, say, in the northern part of Ghana or in the north, in the western north part of Ghana.
Yeah.
Because they look at, if you take areas like the northern part, they look at what's the average purchasing power there. So you look at the market sizes are not maybe strong enough for our products, so you don't want to establish there. Government will put in a location-based incentive to encourage those companies to move there, set up a business. That if you set it up here as a reward, I'm going to give you this. So exemptions are themselves not bad at all, and I will never in any way discredit policy proposals to introduce exemptions. My concern is that it seems most of these exemptions are more about appealing to small businesses. Remember, small and micro and medium enterprises make up about 92% of the business sector, most of which are local. So sometimes it kind of speaks to, is it because a political party is looking for vote or favor within certain segment of the voting population? That's why we are promising so much exemptions. But I would think government coming up or political parties coming back and say, we are going to make this business environment X, Y, Z available. We are going to give this package, you're going to give these loans, you're going to encourage the banks to give this, you're going to do this infrastructure. Businesses need this more. They won't pay taxes if they don't make profit. So the issue is, how do they make the profit in the first place? Should be the angle to look at, whilst looking at other exemptions to support the businesses in areas that will put them in a disadvantaged position. So exemptions are good, but it has to be targeted, it has to be monitored and reviewed, it has to be reported on annually to see what are we getting as a country for granting exemptions, and not just promising and giving away the taxes that we don't already have anyway.
All right, okay, thank you very much. Jeffrey?
You're right, I'm here.
Yeah, so just wrap this up for us. Your final thoughts on the issue of exemptions and as far as the NDC manifesto is concerned.
Right. I would rather propose for them, I think we've done a good scrutiny of what they've done so far, but I would propose for them to have, I think some of the areas they should have spoken about clearly for us to see is about the tax exemptions bill, their will and their commitment to it, and what they would do if they had come to power today, what would they do with it. I think they should also have touched on tax irregularities. You know, we thought that was going to be very, very important, a point to talk about, tax irregularities, because as we speak today, from the Auditor General's reports, tax irregularities contributed 89% of the whole thing that happened. And it amounted to a total amount of 694,623,450 Ghana cedis. That was a huge amount. And a total amount of 108,502 $3,000 is actually owed by 3,696 companies. So you see, these are some of the issues that stand in. When you look at the recommendations that the Auditor General gave to the government, they said strengthen monitoring and supervision of staff, 2, improve efficiency of tax collection, and then apply sanctions prescribed by tax laws on defaulters. These 3 things have been the core of our advocacy. A lot of the times we've visited your studios. So we thought they should have focused on that. And now they were very quiet on sin taxes. Sin taxes are taxes that you can put on tobacco and alcoholic products. You quite recollect that during this period of COVID, it was clear that persons who died had diseases that underlined their cases. And it was clear that these were persons who were falling foul because of their health conditions. So clearly, if you put sin taxes there, what it does is that it reduces the intake of alcohol and tobacco. Then on the second jump, it rather gets income generation for the country. So finally, I think finally, I would think that it is not too late. I would like to hear all the political parties talk about some of the things we've spoken about how to improve the collection of taxes, about how to strengthen our monitoring systems, and then about how to apply sanctions to companies that default. And I think if we have done this collectively, we would end up generating a lot of income for this country. Trust me and believe me, there is nothing free all over the world. There is nothing free. Free education, free healthcare, they all come at a cost. And then the only thing that happens is that it is free at the point of need. And I finally repeat, it is free at the point of need. It is paid for by the taxes that are collected, the revenues that are generated. So let us all make sure that we are going to educate ourselves and commit to the duty of paying tax for what it is about. Even in the religious circles, people pay tax.
Thank you.
So let's make sure that to have a collective nation, a godly nation, let's be committed to paying taxes. It is godly to pay taxes. It is godly to build this country together, so that we cut our way away from the donor things. The only way you can talk and be relevant in the world is to generate your own resources. Start economic nationalism views by developing your strength to produce.
Thank you very much.
Less from outside.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. We've been speaking with Jeffrey Okansi, who is the Executive Director of Revenue Mobilization Africa, and also a member of the Tax Justice Coalition, and to Dr. Alex Ampaben, who is a fiscal policy specialist with Oxfam. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back, but let's take a look at our entertainment highlights.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Akua. The parliamentary candidate for the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dumelo, has apologized for a comment he made on a campaign platform. John has said that his party will not sit aloof to watch anybody rig the 2020 elections. However, in a recent tweet, he has apologized for his comment. I am wholeheartedly sorry for my comments in the said video. I am a man of peace and will always promote peace. Let's make Ghana and Ayawaso West a better place, he wrote. Ghanaian rapper Obrafo is looking forward to serving Aisha Modi a writ of summons for defamation of character. The suit is in relation to allegations labeled against him on the Delay Show a few weeks ago, when the latter said she spent $45,000 on making and promoting Obrafo's Kasebo album.
Obrafo Kasebo Bachman. When I produced it, Bachman. We invested there. We invested close to $45,000. We know Sikaba Bachman one Ghana back. All this is kind of a shame. What's on Ghana West Sudan? Let me see that. Let me pass as simple.
The writ asks that she, Delay, and the producers of the show apologize to him for making false claims about him. The rapper, producer, and fashion designer only appeared on 12 state ballots and won fewer than 60,000 votes in the U.S. presidential elections. Kanye West has suggested that he will run for president in 2024, following his failed bid this year. Alongside a photo of him next to an electoral map filled with Republican and Democrat wins, he tweeted, "Well, an expression of disappointment." He added, "Kanye 2024. And that's all for Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Akua.
During tough times, we need a competent leader we can trust to keep us all safe.
Nana gave me free water when I needed it most to keep me clean and safe from COVID-19.
Nana gave me lower cost of internet during COVID-19 to operate my small business from home.
Nana told us to trust him to keep our children safe from COVID-19 when we sent them back to school. Nana was right.
Nana gave me free electricity in my hour of need during COVID-19.
Nana told us to trust him to keep Ghana safe from COVID-19.
Welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily on Citi TV, and we have star boy Bobby Gentle.
Yeah.
What inspired your name?
Because I'm a superstar, so.
Okay. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Starboy Bobby Gentle, and I'm from Winneba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Winneba.
Yes, but I grew up in Dunkwa on Ofin.
Okay.
So shout outs to Dunkwa people too.
How was life like there?
Oh, it wasn't bad.
Okay.
Yeah, those days I was a minor, so.
Oh wow! Yeah. How was that like?
You know, being a minor, you go enjoy life.
Yes. You're making a little bit of money. But tell us about your musical journey. At what point did you realize that you have this talent?
Okay, I was born with it. Yeah, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I can say. I was born with it.
How has the experience been pursuing it professionally?
It wasn't easy though, but we are still on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you have a single out. Tell us about the single.
The single of my song is Obodo Ibo. It's out. We released it on this Monday, on the last Monday.
Okay.
And it's performing well.
Nice. Yeah. Obodo Ibo.
Yes.
What's the story behind it?
Obodo Ibo is Nigerian language. Igbo people, their language.
What does it mean?
It means white man's land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to me, it's your heart desire. Obodo Ibo can be your heart desire because when Nigeria people, when they travel to white man's land, they get peace of mind. So to me, when you move from ghetto to to somewhere like East Legon,
that's your Obodo Ibo.
Yeah, that's your Obodo Ibo.
But for my people like my director Evelyn, East Legon is the Obodo Ibo. It's not even it's the ghetto. But what has been your own personal Obodo Ibo?
Oh, as I did right now, I did in my Obodo Ibo because
really?
Yes, because those days I was a ghetto boy. Yes, so right now.
But for all the young boys watching you from Dunkofin, so what would you tell them about
let
this
me first
life?
say shouts to everybody and thanks to my boss Billy Gomez. He's the reason why I'm here right now.
Shout outs to Billy.
Shout outs to everybody, and the fans too as well.
But you can talk to them in your local language. Advice you would give them.
I don't have anything to say. I don't want to say.
You don't want to advise them.
Advice.
About hustling, bringing out your singles.
All I have to say is to just keep it up. Everybody should keep it up in what you are doing, because one day, I know it will be perfect for you.
One day, it's going to work out for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Okay. Where do we follow you on social media?
Okay, on Facebook, it's Starboy Bobby Gentle. IG, Starboy Bobby Gentle, and Twitter to Gentle Bobby 003.
Gentle Bobby.
Yes.
What's the story behind your hairstyle? Because I'm getting that flavor vibe from you.
Okay. I can't say anything about my hairstyle.
Why?
Is there plenty?
Okay, I hope Billy didn't influence it in any way. Billy told you to do this one, or this is all you?
Yes, he's the one advising me to.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for being with us. So where can we catch your single on YouTube so that we can all
It's
subscribe?
on all digital platforms.
Okay, okay. Your YouTube channel is?
Strategic Records.
Okay.
Real Strategic Records.
Okay, so we can get it there.
Real Strategy.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I hope that will be fine, because we know some artists have had issues with their record labels creating YouTube accounts for them. But I hope you won't have that situation.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you, I hope, for joining us. We'll be taking a look at star boy Bobby Gentle's single shortly.
Yeah.
But at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., we have Voters Diary for you. Voters Diary is on 97.3 Citi FM at 1 p.m. and on Citi TV at 3 p.m. Is that show that you listen to and watch that will help you make an informed decision this December 7th. We have just 1 month and 2 days to go before we decide who's going to serve us the next 4 years.
Yes, and you know, there are those times where, you know, you're so stressed out by the issues going on in your community, and it's like you keep wondering, who can I talk to, who can I push this agenda to get all these issues fixed, whether it's roads, it's gutters, it's sanitation, it's flooding, whatever the challenges are. Hello, Mr. President is that show that comes your way every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. right here on Breakfast Daily, and send us a 60-second video showing us, you know, the issue that's going on in your community, and we will deal with it right here and call those duty bearers that are responsible to make sure that they answer to the issues that are happening within your community.
Yes, and speaking of community, we have Constituency for You. It's that show that we come into your constituency and hear what your expectations are this election season, what you expect from the political parties, the people coming out to ask for your votes. Of course, it's on Citi TV from Monday to Thursday at 12 p.m. I love this show because it gives us an opportunity to really feel the pulse of the different communities around the country. So you don't want to miss it, and it's hosted by Frema Edunyame.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us today here on Breakfast Daily. It's been a fantastic morning, and we're going to leave you with Bobby Gentle's video.
Yes, we are. But
fantastic.
Again, our YouTube page is CitiTube. So if you missed any segment of the show, you can head on there, comment, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at Bobby Gentle's video, and we'll see you same time tomorrow morning.
My name is Dziffa, Ametam.
And I'm David Kwekusi.
Let's take a look.
If God say yes, nobody can say no. Things we do it different. You only know my name, but you don't know my story. Yeah. Obodo Ibo, I want go. Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, I want go. Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, I want go. Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, yes, want go. Obodo Ibo, yeah. I do it different style. Never try become a different guy. Bobby Gentle got a single. When we stop up in the club, come and see you. Yeah. They just scream me with my name cause the body's so serious. I get a vibe and my vibe is so dangerous. They make me fast so lousy. Doting and on. Modern Castro under fire. They can never quench my fire. Me a speed up. I know the Western. I'm in my grill with a girl. Obodo Ibo, I want go. Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, I want go. Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, I want go. Obodo Ibo, Obodo Ibo, yes, want go. Obodo Ibo. If God say yes, nobody can say no. Things we do it different. You only know